This is MultimediaJay Radio.
Radio on YouTube. Right.
You know, it's really surprising sometimes just how quickly certain amounts of time pass between stuff that I do on here or on other sites like WordPress and stuff like that. So I apologize to the blog crew for the second time in a row last night for not posting enough to the blog. And I've just been so wrapped up in computer hardware and stuff that it's just been monopolizing all of this social media / Web 2.0 stuff that I do on here. But it's back to the microphone once again, despite having been gone for, I think it's been over a month now. So I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. You see, I thought that this kind of stuff, this audio commentary stuff, would be what I was doing on the side, and vlogging would be just a random thing here and there. But it's actually turned out to be the reverse, and I'm vlogging too much. So I intend on, hopefully I can do something about it anyways, maybe look up some more stuff to talk about in terms of audio commentaries and stuff. But I do have something to talk about, namely the proposed deal for YouTube to buy Twitch. So if you haven't heard yet, and what exactly is going on with you if you haven't heard this yet, this has been pretty big news. So apparently there's a deal in the works. It's still rumor at this point, but there's a deal in the works for YouTube to buy Twitch, or should we say Google to buy Twitch, which I do not support, and I think would be the single biggest social media / Web 2.0 disaster of the year if this deal goes through. Now, some people who don't check their facts may say that, oh, it's going to happen, everything's ruined, but it's still very much in the early stages at this point. There are going to be issues with, say, the government. Whatever antitrust alarms are left in Washington will definitely be set off by the largest online video site in the world buying another largest online video site in the world, though it's more niche than YouTube. Yeah, this is going to be interesting to follow and see what goes on, and even more interesting to see what kind of unmerited YouTube drama develops as people gripe at each other about this whole thing. So, how many people are going to be out there like, oh, it's the end of Twitch, YouTube's buying it, even before we know for certain that this deal is going to go through? Quite frankly, I think this is a disaster for the Twitch community. Now, I've been involved with Twitch on and off for the past year or so. I do have a Twitch account. I just don't use it because I've been lacking a decent streaming solution up until recently. Supposedly, the NVIDIA Shadowplay that came with my new video card will let me finally set up some stuff on Twitch and stream some PC gameplay footage and stuff like that if I wanted to have some, like, live play some stuff, Twitch events or something along those lines. But considering I'm still trying to just start doing gaming videos again on Daily Motion somehow, yeah. Though I don't know, should I even bother with Twitch at this point? Because if we look at the disaster that YouTube has become with all the mess that goes on these days, from the people still playing the system and now making money off of it, to the for-profit trolls, to the cheaters, to the copyright trolls, and the copyright troll companies whose entire business model is based on taking advantage of issues with YouTube's policies. When we look at the very, very, very tangled ball of yarn that YouTube has become these days, oh man, can you imagine Twitch being run the way YouTube is? Yeah, well, I can imagine it, and it is not a good imagining, let me tell you. You know, imagine if you went to watch someone that you really, oh, no, we're getting ahead of things here. So the first time I watched Twitch actually was, I was poking around and I heard about Twitch TV on, maybe it was an ad somewhere or some YouTube video or some tech video mentioned Twitch. I went over there and I poked around. I was like, hey, this is a pretty interesting site. Watch people play video games. Twitch basically succeeds where YouTube failed at creating the kind of atmosphere online similar to the offline equivalent of going over a friend's house and playing video games. It's kind of like succeeding where online matchmaking services like Xbox Live have kind of failed. All this online stuff is supposed to be like, oh yeah, if you want to play multiplayer, you can have an experience similar to going over a friend's house and playing video games by not going over a friend's house and playing video games and letting the internet work its internety magic. Yeah, I don't think that has worked out all that well. The few times I've tried doing online multiplayer, I've very, very quickly wished to return to single-player mode and not come back very often. Whether it was Battlefield 1942, Wolfenstein Enemy Territory, other shooters that I've played online, and other sorts of games, even Mario Kart I tried playing Mario Kart DS once, and all the snakers basically owned me. I'm like, yeah, you pretty much can't play online if you're not a master snaker, until snaking got nerfed in Mario Kart Wii. But then, of course, you'd always get blue shelled all over the place, and yeah, you'd run into those people, and this goes for any kind of online matchmaking. I run into it with World of Warcraft, too, and other competitive online games. I probably would run into this if I ever got into League of Legends, too. But whenever you go, if you imagine yourself playing an online video game, and it's like going over a friend's house, chilling with your friends, drinking some cold ones, and playing some video games on a nice TV, and it's like, yeah, everyone's chuckling. Even if you lose, they're like, ha, 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 ha. You make a lighthearted joke out about it. But no. You run into the griefers, the spammers, the idiots, everybody who ruins your experience. Those people who obviously spend 16 hours per day playing video games and are practically robots with how they twitch their thumbsticks and kick everyone's ass and take names. I'm so awesome. Yeah, do you do anything besides play Xbox all day? Yeah. Everybody knows who I'm talking about, those people that are like tool-assisted speed runs without being tool-assisted, though they can still sometimes be tools. This whole everybody online thing just hasn't really gone the way most of us would have imagined. The kind of online stuff that we may have imagined back in the 90s when you were cool if you hosted a LAN party on your 10 megabit network, maybe even token ring. We actually tried some of that in high school. Folks would bring in like the Doom shareware for Windows 95 or Quake 3 or something like that, or maybe even Quake 2, but we actually tried some multiplayer. It was a really clunky experience at best over the one or two routers in the entire school. And this is Windows 98, so no real security to keep people from sneaking games and on floppy disks or even shareware. I think we got StarCraft working, and that's pretty much it. But, okay, off of the tangent here. Twitch is supposed to recreate this kind of experience where you go over a friend's house and play games, only instead of being like online matchmaking, it's you're playing the game and other people are watching you. Now, I've experienced this offline before, going over friends' houses back in the N64 days, folks playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City when I was in college, all this other stuff. And Twitch, I think, has done a somewhat decent job. The first time I watched anything on Twitch was I was actually watching two speedrunners speedrun Mario 64. They were racing each other to 70 stars. I think one of them was called Siglemic or something like that. And I think he has a channel on YouTube. I actually subscribed to him shortly afterwards, but I've yet to watch any more of his speedruns, so... Wow, I've been one fail of a YouTube subscriber. Epic fail, or something like that. So... I watched these two, and it was fun. And this is the sort of thing you couldn't have done over a friend's house, because unless you had two Nintendo 64s and two TVs and stuff. And, but yeah, it was fun. I mean, you watch these, it was a split screen, side-by-side Twitch stream. Actually, maybe it worked because the games were in 4:3, so it didn't really get too nuts if you went widescreen with them. But it actually, it was a very interesting experience watching these two guys absolutely own Mario 64 and actually race each other to see who could get to 70 stars first. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that the internet has brought to the world of gaming these days without needing a giant LAN party or a tournament or a mega expensive conference that you have to pay for the tickets, then buy plane tickets to fly out there or be on the road for so many hours one way just to watch a lot of people play video games in like a convention center or something. You know, this is really a marvel, and YouTube wants to buy it. YouTube, the home of the for-profit trolls, the really short videos with really long calls to action at the end of them, where people bug the heck out of you to subscribe and like and favorite every single video, as if that doesn't get annoying. YouTube, the home of the copyright trolls and the other assorted trolls and all the trolls that have been trolling up YouTube for years, abusing YouTube systems wherever they can, things like that. This is the sort of entity that wants to buy Twitch. Oh, I can imagine what an absolute disaster that would be. Imagine if one day you fired up some Twitch streamer person that you really like. You go and watch them going through like some game or something like that, and maybe their audio gets muted. This has been muted because of copyright issues, something like that. Can you imagine Content ID on Twitch? How much would that ruin Twitch? Yeah. I really, really think that YouTube needs to get its own house in order before making acquisitions. Hint, hint. No, this is a disaster waiting to happen. Yeah. Twitch running like YouTube. And of course, it's obvious why they'd want to do this. YouTube kind of sort of isn't that great of a place to put up gameplay footage of any sort. The Let's Players do it, but it's a clunky process. You got to record the thing and talk over it and edit it and upload it. And if you're not in one of the gifted parts of the world that actually has broadband that isn't total garbage, you have to pretty much upload while you sleep in order to have it uploaded within a couple hours, in order to not tie up your internet connection for hours on end. So yeah, it's a bit of an issue. And I think Twitch really answers what the Let's Play community has really wanted all along. All these Let's Players out there are like, hey, come watch me play video games, listen to my commentary, be entertained by me responding. Or wait a minute, does PewDiePie have a Twitch channel? I mean, the guy's format is just so belongs on Twitch instead of watching in installments as he uploads them. This is totally like, hey, bros, watch me play. That does not sound at all like PewDiePie. Hey, bros, watch out, this is PewDiePie. I shall give up trying to impersonate the most popular dude on YouTube, because apparently I can't impersonate the guy without making him sound like he's 60. Right. Anyways, so can you imagine PewDiePie? Yeah, does he have a Twitch channel? I mean, it just seems like the guy's, hey, come watch me play these games and watch me react to them. It just seems like that Twitch.tv would be exactly where he should be instead of or maybe it's because of all of his subscribers on YouTube that he still does all his YouTube stuff. It just seems like maybe YouTube's holding this guy back and he should be tearing up Twitch at this point. But anyways. What's going to be the point of any of this if Twitch is acquired by YouTube? I mean, yeah, YouTube doesn't really have an answer to Twitch. You can Let's Play on YouTube, but it's a clunky process at best, and you don't get the real-time feedback. So it's not entirely like going over a friend's house and watching him play video games, because you can't be like, no, you idiot, the power-up's over there. Hell, come on, man, get this power-up. How could you miss that? Yeah, man, awesome. You don't get the kind of real-time feedback that you would get, that you would, should not do these videos after supper. You don't get that kind of feedback that you would get from having friends over, kicking back on a big comfy sofa, blasting the TV and the speakers, and blowing the dust out of the subwoofer. I wasn't going to say taking the subwoofer for a spin, but blowing dust out of the subwoofer is often what folks try to do. Let's see what's built up since the last time I blasted the living room with this stuff. Yeah. So it's something to consider. You know, I really don't think that anything good could come of YouTube acquiring Twitch. They really need to look at cleaning their own house first. And any backlash against YouTube acquiring Twitch right now should be a wake-up call to YouTube. If these issues that bother people about YouTube were addressed, maybe this would be a lot more easily stomached by the Web 2.0 video public. I don't want to say general public, because a lot of folks don't really pay attention to this stuff. You really got to be a nerd like me or the folks that do this stuff to really chime in on something like this. But yeah, it's maybe really YouTube's focus should be inward. Now, I realize that that Google's involved here, since this is YouTube and stuff like that. Yeah, Google's involved, and Google has this thing for trying to buy stuff that they really can't come up with a decent competitor to. Like, for example, buying YouTube after Google Video didn't put a dent in YouTube's viewership. And, this tends to be exactly the sort of thing, actually, that YouTube tends to do. So, maybe it's not entirely unexpected, but it's certainly not good for Twitch. I really hope that something stops this deal, because otherwise, I fear for the future of Twitch. I mean, are people really gonna want to put up with the nonsense that regularly shows up on YouTube on a site like Twitch? Actually, I think that would be the cue that maybe it's time for some competition to Twitch. Much like maybe Dailymotion could, start something. I don't know, but I don't see anything good coming of an acquisition of Twitch by YouTube. And who knows, maybe I shouldn't bother with doing anything on Twitch. With how YouTube's become, do I really want to get involved on Twitch if it's about to become a subsidiary? I'm gonna have to think about that. Maybe you folks can think about this too. This is definitely something to think about. Thanks for listening, everybody. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.
I need to stop shouting so much in these things. After all, the microphone is right here.